Come up with a thought, an idea, and it became something. Mira ese cándalo ahí atrás, por favor. Gracias. Para no tener que sacarlo. Muchas gracias. Gracias. Dominican's dish and then like gracias. Okay, gracias. All right. Welcome back, family. And we got something special for you. So today we're going to record a live episode of Made for This Mountain podcast with my guy Joshua Rosa, which is pretty dope. And you can find that on iHeartRadio. You can find his podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. Okay, so my guy Joshua Rosa, he's going to interview Hector Espinal from We Run Uptown. Hector invites me every single week. I just never make it, so I owe you that, Hector. But I don't know the full story. I just know that We Run Uptown was an idea, and I would see them running around Dyton and taking that hill by the One Tree, which is crazy. And they've become such a success. So We Run Uptown, turning purpose into community impact, also making it a worldly known name. Mi gente, Joshua Rosa and Hector Espinal from We Run Uptown, y'all.
Check. We're good here. So first of all, if you guys were here earlier, thank you for being here. You're going to be a part of the live episode, so give yourselves a round of applause. This is actually the first time we ever shoot a live episode. So con toda esa bulla allá atrás. ¿Cómo les dice? ¿Cómo hace la vaca cuando saca leche?
Cállense.
¿Cómo dice el dominicano? Cállense. Delbert, thank you first of all for being a part of this podcast of Made for This Mountain. For those of you that don't know, my name is Joshua Rosa. We are iHeartRadio podcast powered by My Cultura. And My Cultura's goal is to give a voice to us, Latinos, is to give a voice to the marginalized and just the reality that we get to have our stories shared. And we have Hector here. I'm not going to tell you his story. He's going to tell you his story, but there's this reality that every person here has a story. And as I talked about in my first session, I perfectly tied this in, that we have this reality where we turn pain into purpose. That there's something that might have looked bad and has a bigger thing. For me, that's the goal of this podcast. Obviously, for me, it's even deeper because it's faith-based. At my core, the name came from Matthew 17, where I was like, if you have a little bit of faith, you can tell mountains to move, and they'll move. So it's that little bit that we have, that little bit that we give in. So that's the story, that's what we want to dive in. So I'm going to let you introduce yourself. Tell us who you are, what's your story, where you're from, all that amazing stuff.
Good afternoon, buenas tardes. My name is Hector Espinal. I am the co-founder of We Run Uptown. I'm a father of two, I'm a husband, I'm a Grand Emmy Award winner, 6-time marathon.
Hold on. Emmy Award. Who got Emmy? Because I don't.
6-time marathoner, and consider myself a community leader.
So, just this reality, first of all, Emmy, congrats, that's super dope. We're not going to walk past that like that's nothing. That's an accolade that should be celebrated. What would you say that it's the mission from We Run Uptown? Like, what's the mission that you guys have? Like, what do you want to bring to the community?
I think the most important thing for We Run Uptown is to provide Washington Heights, Inwood, the Bronx, anything north of Central Park with movement and access. And I think that that's the void that we fill, and we've been filling that void now for 12 years.
Looking at this connection between, because maybe not everybody wants to start a run club or anything like that, right? Maybe that's not where your heart is and what you're being pulled towards. But what is it about We Run Uptown that makes it symbiotic with things that we want? Like, how is it that that's brought up a goal or a dream or a plan? Or how is it tied to other people in the community? Because I know that's something we talked about, that it just tied people in. What did you guys do that was different, that was able to make that happen?
I think the hardest thing to do as an adult is form platonic friendships. And I think Uptown, we don't have many dirt spaces. Often we convene with our friends at a bar. It's all like alcohol or partying is always included with that. And we wanted to create a platform where adults could be social. Shared experience and common struggle is what builds community, and you find that through sport.
And nothing, and anyone that's played a sport knows that bonding happens more when you have a challenge. That's the depths of that. Do you think that, because this is, all right, let's be real, porque esto para los dominicanos, esto es raro. De que tú vas a correr, you're just going to run to run. Like I told my grandpa once, I was going to go hiking, he said, para la montaña, fuck it, pa perderte. It's like, how is it that you connect that bridge between our culture and something that's typically seen outside of the culture? Like, this is a white thing.
For sure, for sure. My mom is sitting in the audience y esa mujer luchó mucho para que yo cogiera cualquier deporte, right? And I think the beauty of running is that it's an entry-level sport, so you don't need any kind of a skill set, right? You need a pair of shoes and the willpower to move forward. Baseball, basketball, soccer, football, you need some kind of talent in order to be good. Anyone can pick up a ball and shoot it, but like, are you going to be a part of a league? No. The beauty of running and running the way that we do it is that it allows everyone to compete together, right? Running is a team sport with individual goals, and it's really cool because I see some of the people here that run with We Run Uptown. Some people are training for a marathon, right? We're all going to toe the line at the same time. Some of us may run a 6-hour marathon. Some of us may run a 3-hour marathon, but that goal is yours alone. We can train together, but it's all about how much work you put in so you can make it to that finish line. And I think that's the beauty of running versus any other sport. Anyone can pick that up. We have a 3-mile run, a 2-mile walk. We now meet on Mondays, Wednesdays, Saturdays. What started off with 2-3 people has grown exponentially because people can see that they also can do it.
So how do you fan that flame? Let's say a person that's never run before, right? They come, they show up on Monday. What do you do to make them feel included into the community?
I think it's just the environment that we've created. We've created an environment that feels safe. The women who are running with us feel safe. The children, like my kids, pull up. And it's the way that we've curated the event. I'm a big hugger. You know, I say hi to people, give them a hug, welcome to We Run Uptown. My favorite part of the run is when we ask, who's here for the first time? We bring them to the front, and that's how we break the ice. They get a little embarrassed. It's nerve-wracking, you know? You're nervous to go to this run club. It seems intimidating until you start to see people who look like you. I'm not the poster child for fitness. You know, I'm a plus-size runner. But when someone tells me that they cannot do it, I tell them I couldn't do it, and look how far I've come. So if I can do it, so can you.
Yeah, I was going to mention that because in the words of my Dominican grandmother, estamos bien saludables.
Comemos mucho.
Está bueno y me gusta. How do you equate that picture? How do you make people feel safe in the environment? Because this goes across every discipline, right? It's not necessarily just running. How do you make people feel included if they don't look like they should be included?
I think it's just like our Mondays are what makes We Run Uptown separate from all the other run clubs in New York City, right? There's this running boom, everybody's doing it. We've been doing it before it was popular. It's like we stop every mile. Or if we're running, like Len mentioned, if we're running up Snake Hill, we know that's a hard obstacle. Let's stop at the top. Let's bridge up, let's regroup and clap it up for the last person. We are waiting for people. There's no one gets left behind. We've also included a walking group. My wife was pushing for us to do that. Sierra was also pushing for us to do that. It's like running isn't easy for everyone. So if we create a walking group, then we'll have some spillage into the running group. And we've watched that transition. People that, I don't want to be a runner, I just want to walk. Some movement is better than no movement. They started off walking. Now some of those people are training for their first half marathon, their first marathon, and it's beautiful to watch.
Yeah, I think that's a good transition because everybody wants to be a part of something. That's an intrinsic desire of every human heart is to belong. We want to be a part of something. So being able to create a segue where you might not be the fastest runner, but you could be the fastest walker or the medium walker, or even the slowest walker. People will cheer for you anyway, make you feel included. Kind of switching a little bit of gears there, just into you personally. I know you mentioned before that you're unofficially because of 6, and I'll let you tell that story.
Sure.
But how does that come to be, and what is it that you've created in that world personally?
For sure. I want to say 2024, I wanted to, so I'll start with my first marathon, right? We were all sitting at my mom's house, my sister.
Which, real quick, who here has run a marathon before?
We got marathoners.
All 5 of you, because I drove a marathon once, but
we're all a part of that 1%. 1% of the world's population that's ran a marathon.
That's insane. I could bench press to 25. That's also 1%.
That's it.
I won't run.
We were sitting at my mom's house eating rabo. That's my favorite meal, and all my friends were talking about getting into the marathon. And I always get emotional saying this, but my mom, everybody's like pressuring me, you need to run your first marathon. I'm like, yo, I'm good. Like, I have nothing to prove. And my mom started crying, and she was like, si ellos pueden, ¿por qué tú no puedes? And I remember, like, I'm like, oh, fuck it, man. My mom wants me to run a marathon. So we signed up for the New York City Marathon, one and done. I'm like, yo, I'm never doing this again. It was really hard. And year after year, I started doing another one, and another one, and another one. And then I wanted to chase this dream of the 6 world majors. That's when you run New York, Chicago, London, Berlin, Boston, and Tokyo. You get a 6-star, you know, it's metal and like a ribbon, and you put it on your wall, you never take it out the house. But I wanted it. But the goal that I wanted to do, I wanted to become the 50th Dominican to complete all 6 world majors. And 2024, I ran Tokyo, fastest marathon I've ever ran, crushed it. And I decided to run the Boston Marathon, I want to say 2 to 3 weeks after that, which was a really bad idea. But I missed the cutoff point by like 10, 15 minutes. So I ran the marathon. They gave me the 6-star medal, had me talk to the news, they celebrated me, my mom was there, my kids were there. And when I got home, I'm like, hey, why isn't it populating on the website? It didn't count. But no one at that event had the courage to tell me that it didn't count.
I wouldn't either.
But yeah, man, like they had me talking to the news, my kids, they had me put the medal on the kids, but so on and so forth. It didn't happen, but I know I ran the marathon. And for a while, like I beat myself up. I was supposed to go to London. I tried to cancel my trip because I just didn't want to be around people either saying congrats or me have to retell and relive this. And that whole week, I was like very depressed, very sad, because this goal that I wanted to not only do for me, but give my parents something to like flex about, something to put on their WhatsApp status, and like, you know, and I remember like my dad, like I made it to the list, and I remember my dad like posting it and bragging to his friends, and having to call him to tell him like, please take that down because it's not official. And my community lifted me back up. You know, like I was really distraught, and everyone made sure that I knew that I wasn't a failure because that's how I felt.
What do you think was the hardest part of you, like coming to terms that you're not a failure? Because be realistic, like again, it's perfect because that's what I talked about in my first session, where we become our own biggest critic and our own biggest enemy. We don't support ourselves the way we support people. So what do you think was the hardest thing for you to finally come to terms with the fact that, dude, you just ran 5 that were on time, and you were like 10 minutes short. There were people that were later to this event than you were to that time. How do you compensate for those two things?
I think the hardest part, like that was my first public failure, or it's not a failure, it wasn't an F. I ran the marathon, but it was the first time that I felt like I let my people down publicly. Like I did this whole training journey, I was posting about it, like I brought everybody along because I worked really hard to do those 2 marathons back to back. Doing 1 is hard, doing 2 in less than a month is even harder. And I think la vergüenza, you know, and like feeling like I let my kids down, I let my wife down, my family down. But like I said, they lifted me up. Like marathon training, you do it alone, but your whole family pays for it. You know, like after you get home after a long run, like I don't want to take my kids to the park. I want to go to sleep. I just ran 20 miles. I'm tired. It takes me a lot longer than most people. So like I just didn't want all that hard work to be in vain. You know.
That's the reality. Sometimes we have to deal with things and realize that you're not the problem. Like dude, you ran a marathon. You ran a marathon after a marathon. Again, most of us have never ran a marathon, let alone one after another one. So just kind of another shift in gears here. Again, the name of the podcast is Made for This Mountain. And just talk about things that people sometimes see as a mountain that is actually supposed to be the greatest part of your story. What do you think is your mountain? Like, what is a mountain that you've overcome, and what's a mountain that you think you're in right now?
Oof. I think how far We Run Uptown has come. I think that's been like one of our biggest mountains in the community. This didn't exist before us. And I think, I say us because it's not just me, right? I'm the figurehead, I'm the one organizing, but if no one shows up, it's just me and my partner, Josh.
It's a good name, Josh.
Yeah, it's a really good name, you know?
That's my name if you missed it.
What we do is really for Uptown, by Uptown, and I think back to the first couple of years, like it was during the stop and frisk era, and the police department, 33rd precinct, 34th precinct, would see us, recognize us from a previous lifestyle, and stop us and like pat us down. That's not fun.
At all. Like, Dominicans running that. It's not fun. It's something.
So like we've overcome so much where now like the NYPD will stop traffic for us, or like yell, "We run," and we'll yell back Uptown. It's the community, like we are synonymous with fitness in our community, you know, and this is not something that Washington Heights, Inwood, the Bronx is known for. We're not known for fitness. We're not known for running, which is crazy when we have the Armory on 168th Street. And now when you mention running, you cannot remove Uptown from the equation because we are the trendsetters and we're the ones that are paving the way for the next generation of athletes.
Yeah, which is amazing to see that. You're wrong. You also run a family. I'm not letting that go. That's fine. So, tying in, again, multidiscipline, because again, there's people here that are coming from a tech background, from a business background, from a media background. What is it that you guys are doing that makes you known, that helps other people outside of your sphere know you or know what you're doing, or for better lack of words, build influence?
Oh man, I think like our biggest flex is IRL. You know, I feel like you cannot capture what we do on a deck, on a video, in photos, but if you pull up on a Monday night run and you see 200 people who look like you taking over Broadway, you feel the impact, you know, and like people come for the run, but they stay for the community. I think I've done a really good job at telling our story, and for a while I was like, I didn't want to be known as the runner, like that, it was corny. You know, 2013, we were running in short shorts, like that wasn't fun, it wasn't popular, but I took on that identity of an athlete, of a runner, and I owned it. So whenever someone talks to me, yeah, my name is Hector Espinal from We Run Uptown. And like my wife laughs about it all the time because she's like, you can't just tell people that and expect them to know who you are. And I'm like, if I do it enough, they will, you know? And that's how I introduce myself.
Yeah, you tied your identity to what you're doing when you're creating. So, in better, kind of just to gloss over that, what you do is a byproduct of who you are. That stemmed away from the fact that this is what you love, this is what you were good at, this is how you created these things. Just kind of looking at that from a scale, if a person, we have a couple minutes here, but if a person wanted to build a brand around themselves, right? Because again, we don't buy brands, we buy people, right? When we buy into things because we believe in the person, not in the thing that I'm buying. So what would your advice be to that? Like if you build, stemming off of that, building a brand, what would your advice be for people?
I love that you just mentioned that. Like one of my favorite books is it's by Simon Sinek. You know, people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. Like what we do is completely free for the community. You know, it's my life's work. And if someone wanted to create something similar, and what we're doing is building community, you have to do it with your heart. And you cannot do it for a profit, because that is the biggest issue. If you're doing something because you want to make money off of it, once the money stops rolling in, now what? You know, now you have all these people who have bought into this product, in our case, which is We Run Uptown, and you no longer want to do it because it's not financially beneficial. And I keep mentioning my wife, but Crisali knows more than anybody. We lose money with We Run Uptown. Anyone that's been to a We Run Uptown run, like she's shaking her head. Anyone that's been to a We Run Uptown run knows how giving we are. Like We have t-shirts, we want everybody to get t-shirts. If we're doing food, we want everybody to eat. Because we want to create the same experiences that the rest of the city has. Why do these runs, these elevated runs, elevated experience, why do they only live south of Central Park? Why can our people, similar to Pasaporte, why can't our people also have nice things?
That's real tough. It's not like we're great. And I want to edify that because I experienced that myself, especially like as I grew. If you don't know me, I do social media stuff. But I had my TikTok stuff. I accidentally had my account as a business account, and it became the same where they banned me, and I stopped making money. And then that came to this impasse where I was like doing it for the money for the people. So I kept doing it, and then they brought me back, thank God. But I realized that it was more fruit from what you were receiving by seeing other people grow, opposed to what you're getting yourself.
It's funny that you mentioned that. I made 50 cents off of my Instagram Reels this month. 50 cents.
Listen, 50 cents richer.
50 cents.
So we have about a minute and some change here. Just before we wrap up that last portion, well, I'll give you the last minute there. But first of all, thank you guys for being a part of this. Thank you for being here, for being present. Give yourself a round of applause. Because you came, you thought there was a hurricane, and Dominicans, we don't do well with rain for some reason. And those of you that came late, you too, but no, I'm kidding. You're here. If people wanted to connect with you, if they wanted to connect with We Run Uptown, what would they do? How they should do that?
I think just reaching out to us on Instagram. Josh is the one that handles that. He's a lot better at it than I am. But you could hit me up on Instagram, Hack is Dead, or you can hit up WRUCREW Root Crew on Instagram. We don't even promote our runs anymore. Rain, sleet, hail, or snow, 12 years, every single Monday, 7:15 p.m. We're there at Mitchell Square Park.
Even if it rains?
Even if it rains. Who's ran in the rain with us before? Look, they're raising their hands. The rain doesn't stop. It's snowing, it's raining.
It doesn't stop with the ladies.
No, we're there.
People come late.
Sometimes we get 70 people in the rain.
70 people is insane. So we're just going to wrap this up. And on behalf of iHeartRadio, on behalf of Mike Cultura, thank you for being on this episode of my Made for This Mountain. I guess me too, right? Made for This Mountain, the podcast. But mostly thank you guys for being here, for being present. And we'll check you on the next one.
Thank you guys.